Welcome to Your Marriage Matterz with Jim and Christy Jacobus. This podcast is dedicated to couples that want to get the most out of this crazy thing we call marriage. Each episode is designed to guide us in a fun and exciting way through the skills, strategies, tactics, and mindset we need to build a compelling life together. Our goal is for all of us to create the vibrant and healthy marriages we all dreamed of when we said I do. Welcome to Your Marriage Matterz with Jim and Christy Jacobus.
Well, hey there, gang. It's Jim.
And Christy.
Jacobus, otherwise known as
Team Jacobus.
Team Jacobus. Yeah, welcome back, babe.
Yeah.
I apologize to everybody last week that they didn't get to hear your beautiful voice, so it's so good to have you there on the other mic. So
it seems so simple that, people who share a household together could find the time, especially.
You would think.
But yeah, it's been a crazy season.
Well, yeah, between how busy you were and me not feeling like it, when you were able to do it, it's kind of a tough time to get a podcast done, but here we are. Yeah. Everything's going better, feeling better every day, getting better every day, and limping around not as much as I was before, so it feels good to be back here looking across the table at you with the mic there. So,
I missed you last week as it was a really important topic. So, yeah, this series that we're covering is going over just a way to prepare for the new year, and I like things like that. I like fresh starts, and I like the preparation and planning of it. So I'm excited. And like I said, I apologize for missing last week.
Well, we're glad to have you back. We certainly understand. So, hey, gang, if you're here for the first time, welcome to Your Marriage Matterz podcast number 44. And we're heading toward getting ready to knock out podcast number 52, which means we've been doing this for an entire year. That seems crazy to me. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. You're right in the middle of a series, 4 questions to ask yourself to make 2019 your best year ever. And this really comes out of a process, babe, that you and I have used now for years and we're sitting down planning tonight about getting away for some time right after the first of the year to do this. For just the two of us for 2019. It's a great series. I guarantee you, if you'll go back and start with the very first one and just go one question at a time, you'll enjoy it. And for those of you who have been with us from the very start and have been in the middle of this series from the beginning, we're already getting a lot of great feedback about some of the things that are coming up as you discuss these first 2 questions that we have. And babe, we started off with question number 1 just 2 weeks ago, and it was,
what's working and how do we do more of it? And I think that's always so important to identify those things in your life that are going well. We talk about SWOT analysis, and the strengths of your marriage and what you need to do better is something that you certainly need to identify and make a commitment to do more of it. This year, 2018, has been an unusual year for us because it made us look at priorities, and it made us look at what was important and helping to identify, what is working and how do we continue to do more of it. The podcast, we've had several things that we've looked at it, we've evaluated, and based on our evaluation, it was working, but what could we also do to make it better?
Yeah. And one of the things about that question that's so good is success leaves clues. You can look at what's working and why is it working, and then how do we repeat that in other areas of our life. And then last week we tackled, babe, what I think is one of the most important questions. It was unfortunate you weren't here with us, is what's not working and how do we get rid of it or make it work? Right. And man, alive, that question can open up some awesome opportunity for us to create more margin in our lives, to get rid of things that we're not getting value out of. It gives us an opportunity, sweetheart, to be really serious about, is this really something that we need in our life?
Right. And you always hear the to-do list. Well, this is your to-don't list.
To-don't list.
Yeah, and it was interesting as I was preparing for that, thinking that we would have time to share the mics together. I found something that I thought in a business world really did speak to me, because so often in the day, it feels like I lose control of my time that I have. And I found an article that had some things that I really could identify with. It said things like, don't answer every email as it comes in. Don't answer every instant message or text when it comes in unless you identify it as urgent. Right. Kind of goes back to Covey's division of what's important and urgent. And so I found that to be very helpful. But in our marriages too, and in our relationships, we also have to identify, this isn't working and we need to change and we need to grow because of it.
Well, and it's not unusual for you and I to get in the middle of the year and find ourselves really, really busy. I mean, overextended. and sit down and ask ourselves this question in the middle of June or July. Okay, look, we're getting jammed up here. What do we need to get rid of? What do we need to take out of our lives that's taking away some time that we need to be able to use to do things that are more valuable? And it doesn't mean that what we're doing isn't valuable.
Right.
It may be. It just may not be as valuable as what we want to invest our time in.
Right. And one of the things I struggle with sometimes is saying no, because there's so many projects or opportunities that I just think sound so fun.
Yeah.
And so it's oftentimes very difficult to say no to something, not because you struggle with delegation, which unfortunately I do. I'm more the DIY person, but I see opportunities and I think, oh, that would be so fun. So sometimes it's also discipline that makes us look at the situation and say, I need to stop. Yeah. I need to understand there's limited amounts of time, treasure, and talents, and I don't have unlimited supplies of any of those.
Right. Yeah, we are coming very more and more every day to understand that we have a limited amount of time.
Exactly.
Well, the cool thing is about that question, sweetheart, is that when we ask ourselves that, when our couples out there ask themselves, what's not working, how to get rid of it, then that opens up margin to ask the next question, what do you want to do that's new? Mm-hmm. And so this week, gang, our question is, what do you want to do in your lives out there? What do you guys want to do that's new? And I think it's important not to just kind of let this happen willy-nilly, but to be intentional about what do we want to do that's new this year. And I was just curious, when you think back of us asking that question, what are some things that you and I have decided we wanted to do new through the years as we've been doing this?
Well, one that instantly comes to mind is taking classes together.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky. I've just noticed in the last couple of months, I took a flower arranging class, a cooking class just last week. And I also took the board and brush where you actually get to create your own artwork.
Beautiful stuff you brought home that night, too.
I'm not so sure about
that. I thought it was.
But in each case, when I went to the class, I found new and exciting things from somebody who's an expert, and they shared their passion with us. So I think one of the things that I would like to do is begin going to classes. And this is an opportunity for our couples out there to find something that's a shared interest or a shared passion or something that you would like to learn together and take a class in it. I left the cooking class thinking, there's so much to learn about that I don't know, that I really don't. I guess I know how to cook, and I always joke the kitchen's in our house because it came with the house, but it was like I said, a neat opportunity. So identify something you'd like to learn and do it together.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity. So what about you? What do you think?
Well, I look back and think about some things that we made decisions on that we wanted to do new, like change church homes and things like that. We've been really, really blessed to be in 3 great churches during our 30 years of marriage. Started out at Williams Race Baptist Church, which is now Sugarland Baptist. And, I kind of look at that as our home church. I mean, That's where we kind of grew up in our marriage together. And then we very intentionally moved to River Point Church, which I think was where our ministry was born. And we learned so much over there by teaching classes and being involved in everything. And again, a great church. And we intentionally chose to leave River Point to go to Sugar Creek because we felt like God was calling us to do a Sunday school class where we could build into people's lives week in and week out. And that led us to the IT3 class that we now teach. So, we've come across all kinds of things that we wanted to do new through the years in planning on trips and things like that we've done in the past. So when you think about our couples that are listening out there, what are some of the things that they might consider doing that would be new to them?
Well, I think we talk about the importance of date night and the importance of spending time together and intentionality and having fun together and continuing to pursue the other person. And scheduling a date night is something that I think if it's not currently part of your schedule or habits or whatever, and I know people are busy, but it's still so very important.
Yeah. Well, again, if you start getting rid of what's not working, how to get rid of it, you should be able to create some time. And that intentionality about spending time together, I think, is huge. And I'm going to kind of tag that with how important it was for you and I not too long ago to start praying together a few years back. And then just a couple of months ago, we committed some time in the evenings to doing Bible study together. So I think that is very much the same thing for a couple, is to be intentional about making sure that they spend some time together out there, and don't get so wrapped up in the work and the kids and all those kinds of things that you don't have time for each other. I mean, I think those are really important. So, and what else can you think of?
Well, I think one of the things that is really important is when you're planning on something that's new, is to pick something that you feel personally you'd like to commit to change. Yeah. Something that requires discipline. Just one thing. Don't make a whole list of stuff that you want to, but try and tackle one thing individually or together, and just commit to using this time to say, here's our new plan. Right. Let's start fresh. Let's start new, and let's commit to exercising more frequently. That's always a big one this time of year. They say the gyms are so full in January. But just commit to something that either individually or together you need to solve, and work at a plan to do that. Yeah, well,
I'm going to add to that we just said a while ago, we were sitting down a while ago looking at a place to go and do a retreat up in the hill country. Well, I would recommend that couples take these 4 questions and get away and do a retreat. Now, if you've got younger kids, I mean, we started doing this with Jason when he was like 14 years old, 12 years old, something like that, and having him ask himself these same questions. And by the way, for your children, the personal is obviously what it is, but professional is their school. In other words, they look at going to school as being their job, and that's the way we treated it with Jason, was that going to school is his job. And so we ask him the same thing: what's working, and how do you do more of it? What's not working? How do you get rid of it? What do you want to do that's new? What do you want to do that's big? And we had him make those same commitments. So if you've got kids that are a little bit older, I think you'll find this a great opportunity to share as a family all of these goals, and they'll know what your goals are. You'll know what their goals are. But if you don't have kids that are old enough yet, then leave them with mom and dad. Trust me, as a grandparent, they'd love to have them for a weekend, and just go away, the 2 of you, and take these 4 questions with you and ask yourself, what's working? How do we do more of it? What's not working? How to get rid of it? What do you want to do that's new? And next week, we're going to share with you the last question, which you have to wait till next week to hear that one. But it's another great question to ask. And baby, I think the importance of doing this for anybody that's listening to the podcast out there, gang, is the whole intentionality thing. Living your life, living your marriage, professionally and personally, individually and collectively. The whole idea of being intentional about the whole thing.
Right. And sometimes if you're not, making a plan, you can look back and time just goes by so fast. Yep. And not to say that making a plan is going to make time slow down, but just like in the thing that's recently come up, the screen notifications, you can look down and I'll go, wow, I've been on my phone over the course of a day for 2 hours. Right. Where does that time go? So I think it's important that every now and again we stop, we check in with the other person, we just become intentional about what we want our lives to be about, because it can just slip by so fast. So.
Yeah. Well, and again, we're excited about these questions. We're excited about the things we're already talking about for next year that we want to do that's new and that we want to do that's big. And we'll be sharing some of that with you guys next week. So thanks a lot for joining us. We really appreciate you guys. Certainly go to the Facebook page at Your Marriage Matters and let us know if you have any questions. I'll be uploading this particular podcast there along with a cheat sheet, babe, that they can use and take notes on. Go to the Facebook page. There's actually a section or a learning unit that has all 3 of these podcasts in it with all 3 of the downloads. And you can download those and create a workbook to use in order to help you with these 3 questions. And again, I think the thing that I love about this, babe, is that you and I we're being intentional about planning our life together, and it absolutely makes me adore you.
Yes, and I love you.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Your Marriage Matters with Jim and Christy Jacobus. We hoped it encouraged you in your journey to building a vibrant and healthy marriage. Before you go, we'd like to ask you a favor. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with others so they can join us on the journey. We would really appreciate it. We will see you next week on Your Marriage Matters.